Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? It's you. Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? It's you. That's right. Yeah. Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? It's you. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. You can go to sleep. Good morning, Stephanie. Hey, how are you feeling? How are we feeling? Do we need to chit-chat? You know? I won't say it, but if we need to, we can. Hey, Jen. Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? Who's mommy's angel? It's you. You got your restock last night? They're going pretty well, pretty fast. Everyone seems to be on the up and up. We only had one spill so far, not bad. Oh yeah, she's in her My Little Pony onesie. That's right. There's a full picture of the onesie on my Instagram for those who love that kind of stuff. Wait, it was an awesome surprise. I couldn't place the smell. It's the one that I just posted a video of last night. It's the Pirouette tea. So it's a sumac sweet tea. So it's like a Middle Eastern tea. It's actually really popular. I think some of you know that I'm half Persian. It's really popular among those people, my people, if you will. Oh, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. She's holding her head up so well. I know, right? She's so strong. You should have seen her doing tummy time yesterday with her dad. It was crazy. She's so strong now. It's literally insane. Literally insane. Literally insane. Yes. Hi, Nahisa. Y'all, I finished House Help. You finished it? Wow, you are so fast. I know, she's getting so big. She's almost 11 pounds, you guys. Can you believe that? Hey, Natasha. How are you? Miss you, sweet girl. Hi, baby. How are you? You guys, my goddaughter's here. She still hasn't met this baby because, oh, that's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. I knew it was you. I wasn't worried. When are we going to see you, sweetheart? You got to come meet this baby. You should. You should come next week when Yaya comes. She can bring you. Yeah. That's okay. Just pick a day next week. Yeah. What are you doing online? Aren't you supposed to be at school? It's 8:30 in the morning. Teenagers, I tell you. You guys are unpredictable as a breed. Unpredictable as a breed of people. Unpredictable. That's not really how the song goes, but we'll just pretend it is. Oh, it's spring break. Oh, then you should come this week. Oh, you should. I didn't know it was spring break. Oh, Natasha, text me on offline, and we'll do it. Shani, I'm so sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. I apologize. But yeah. Text me, Natasha, offline, and we will plan a day, because I didn't know you were on spring break. That's great. We'll do it this week while you're on spring break. Morning, Avery. Morning. Good morning. We've danced the whole night through. Good morning, my darling, to you. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning, my darling, to you. Alright, I'll see you later, Natasha. When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Morning, Liz. Now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say goodnight. So good morning, Good morning. Sunbeams will soon up. Good morning, my darling, to you. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I literally saw that post Sloth and I screamed because puppets are too scary. Too scary. Alright. How's everyone doing this morning? Are we all feeling good? Feeling fine? This little lady slept really well last night. I was singing Sweet Nightingale from Cinderella yesterday. Oh, I love that song. Oh, sing, sweet nightingale, sing, sweet nightingale. Oh, sing, sweet nightingale, sing, sweet nightingale. Are you gonna sleep or what? Now would be a great time for a nap. I'm just saying, you've been up for an hour. Now would be a great time for a nap. It would. It really would. You could sleep. You'd feel great. Oh, really? Yeah? Okay. Tell me more about that. She's also protesting naps. Yes, we protested naps all day yesterday, Victoria. I'm not even joking. All day yesterday. The entirety of the day. There was one point yesterday where she was up for 5 hours. 5 hours. Who does that? What 2-month-old wants to be awake for 5 hours? I was like, girl, you cannot do that. That is not good. It was rough, and I felt really bad because my husband's been watching her while I work this week because he's on a paternity leave week this week, so he had to deal with most of it. Yeah. Can mommy have a sip, do you think? Oh, man, that's good. Okay, let's get the phone. And let us go to our reading chair. Nope, that way's blocked. Okay, let's go this way. It's fine. We moved some stuff around yesterday to make space for me to make slime out here in a bigger capacity. And that's what that was. Bless you. Bless you. Okay, let's sit down carefully with our coffee. We did it. Okay, we sat down without spilling. It is an entire pajama set, Victoria. I will show you here in 1 second. Hold on. So it's actually a set of princess pajamas. Yeah. My mom bought them for me years and years ago. I've had these for like, I don't even know how long. I can't even tell you how long I've had this pajama set. Maybe closing in on a decade. Yeah, it's a waffle knit. It's very comfy. The pants are princess too. I'm also in my onesie, huh? It's not true. There's pants and shirt, but morning, Isabella. Okay, so before I start, in case anyone doesn't know, we have Roll for Slime tonight at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, and tomorrow is after dark at 6 p.m. But tonight is regular Roll for Slime right here, same channel, like we're all watching TV, at 4:30. So that's exciting. Let's go this way. Look at us. Do we want a nap, do we think? We should. We should like a nap. You're rubbing your face into my shoulders like in a way you do when you're overtired, but you shouldn't be overtired. You should be just the right amount of tired. Same slime channel, same slime time. That's right. That's right. When she's really tired, she goes like this in my shoulder, like she can't get comfy, you know? Yeah. You're just gonna go to sleep. Let's just rock for a second. Let's just rock for a second. I need Band-Aids that are slime compatible. Let's invent that. You're okay. You don't want to go to sleepy? You want to go in your bouncer again like you did yesterday? You were happy in your bouncer almost the whole live yesterday, huh? You want to go in again? Although I thought you were going to sleep. I really did. I really thought you were going to sleep. You look tired, honey. You look so tired. You really want to go in the bouncy when you look this tired? Hi. You look so sleepy. You look like a sleepy girl. You don't want to give it. Hi, Smiley. You're a smiley sleepy girl, but you're a sleepy girl. Why don't you give in and sleep? It's good for you. It's good for your brain. It's good for your body. It's good for your smiles. All right, I'll put you in your bouncy anyway. I know this is what you want. I know you love your bouncer, but you know, a nap would be great. A nap would be great. A nap would be great. All right, so for those who don't know, we are rereading the Hunger Games, or for some people, first reading the Hunger Games. For a lot of us, it is a reread. This is my first reread since my original read through, and even just the beginning of it has already blown my mind rereading it. I love when an author is so good that when you go back, you're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. Yes, she's practicing for her future all-nighters. It's your first read, Sophie. I think it's also Anya's first read. I think it's Avery's first read, maybe, if I remember correctly. Let me know if she falls asleep. I will, but so far we are. Stephanie's first read, and okay, Victoria's as well. Oh, it's Roxy's first read too. Oh, wow. Okay, it's a lot of people's first read. Oh my gosh. Slot 2? Okay, I had no idea it was so many people's first read. Well, I'm glad that I'm me too, Christy. I'm so jealous of everyone getting to experience, bless you, this for the first time, because it's so freaking good. I have to tell you, I'm enjoying it maybe even more now than I did before. Yeah, me too, Jen. I haven't read them since they came out. Yes, I always feel that way. And Isabella's first time. It makes more sense for it to be your first time, Isabella, because you weren't, I think you were barely, not even reading when it came out. You know what I mean? You're so young. It is. That's what I was going to say, Liz. It's like reading a whole new book after reading the series. I love the movies too. Stephanie, we said this yesterday. I think they're the best book to movie adaptation in our lifetime. I really do. I think the book came out in 2008, Isabella. So, you know, you were not around yet. I love the movies, but I haven't gotten into the books. Well, we're getting into it now. So let's read chapter 2 and see how much we get through today. I just got the new one and I was wanting to reread them. Yeah, that's what we're doing, Heather, because I just finished. You were born after it came out. You guys, one of our dearest book club members was not alive when this book came out. Do you want to watch my heart just crack into 1,000 pieces? I'm an old lady. I think Fallen, the best movie. Wait, I think Fallen, the best movie to book because not a single detail was left out. Wait, Fallen? Wait, I don't know that one. What's that? Tell me more. Hey, Amanda. Yes, same, Heather. I mean, listen, I've learned to live with it, especially having an infant. I'm like, oh, I feel it in my bones. Yeah, I've never heard of Fallen, but I believe you. Your daughter was 8 then? I mean, I could have had an 8-year-old physically. I didn't, but I could have. Based on, you know, my own age. I'm glad I didn't have an 8-year-old because I was trying to do other things at the time. But anyway, let's go ahead and read. Is this your drool on me? I bet it is. She is loving looking out the window right now. She's having a great time. You were 3 when it came out? Oh my gosh, it's a sci-fi romance about fallen angels. Oh, that's amazing. I took a selfie the other day and I can tell I'm no longer, I know. The other day, Secret Husband and I were talking about like what age we could possibly pass for. Yeah, I can show you the physical book, of course. I mean, but like, Anya, don't forget, mine is not only like from the year it came out, but it's also waterlogged from an accident in my apartment. So usually my books are in really good condition. I take really good care of everything, but like this one got damaged by the water from that thing. The new covers are so pretty. I'm totally not against getting a new set of beautiful covers. Did you guys see the covers that Jillian posted in the book club chat? So beautiful. Oh my God. You were 7 when it came out? You guys, you're hurting me. I was a full adult in college when it came out, so
I remember the bookstore that I purchased it at. I remember walking there through New York City alone to buy it. I am old. I'm an old lady. Old lady. Hey, Jillian, I didn't know you were here, but yes, we were just talking about you. Yes. I actually get mistaken for 22 more than anything. I think, and you guys can correct me and I won't take it personally, I think I could pass for 35. I think it's passable, right? Like, I think if I told someone I was 35, they wouldn't doubt me. They'd be like, yeah, probably, right? They would be like, probably, you could be 35, right? I look 27. Oh, I love that. That's not true, but I love it. I'll take it. But I think I could pass for 35. I told Secret Husband that the other day. I am over 35. Yes, I am. But I told Secret Husband I thought both of us could pass for 35, he and I. And he was like, I could not pass for 35. I was like, you can. You look really good. And he was like, I don't think so. Yeah, no. That's what, Isabella, I told you I could technically be your mother. But I think I could pass. I think people would believe me if I told them I was 35. So that makes me feel good because I'm not 35, but we'll pretend, right? Hoo. I thought you were around 32 when I first met you. I'll take 32. I'll take 32. You think we could both, Liz? Yeah. Liz, I actually think you also could. You could pass for 35, 36. I get people saying I'm in my 30s, but I think it's the hair. Maybe it is my hair. You're right. My boss constantly thinks I'm way younger than I am. Yeah. You were 22 when it first came out. Sloth, I mean, almost the same. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I actually might have been. I don't remember exactly, but I might have been 22. You thought I was 25. That's so funny. You thought a 25-year-old had these. Look at this. Look at these wrinkles. You think 25-year-olds, you think I had these when I was 25? Girl, these did not exist when I was 25. I had none of this at 25. No, I'm not over 40. My husband and I are 9 years apart and people think he's older. People always think my mom's in her early 30s. I love that. I sometimes feel like I could pass for younger and then my bones creak. Well, sure, but I meant face-wise, Liz. Like your face, Liz, I think you could pass for 35 also. Same as me. Yeah, which is good. I think you have wrinkles starting at 23. No, you don't. Stop lying. Maybe you have smile lines, which is good. Like I have these. I used to have, you see this right here? This used to be a dimple way back in the day, and my daughter has it. She has this. It looks like a wrinkle now, but this was a dimple when I was little, and she has it. Yeah, it's skin texture. Yeah, for sure. But you can see here also, do you see these lines right here? I didn't have those until COVID. COVID stressed me out so much that I got lines right here, but I didn't used to have those. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my face. We're here to talk about Hunger Games. Excuse me. Are we ready for chapter 2? So, I am going to read the very last paragraph of the previous chapter before going into chapter 2 because I think it makes a difference, especially for those who have never read it before. I think, Morning Cindy, I think that it's powerful what she does between the two chapters, and so I want to just jump back one paragraph and then bleed into chapter 2. Are you ready, sweetheart? Okay, let's go. Effie Trinket crosses back to the podium, smooths the slip of paper, and reads out the name in a clear voice. And it's not me. It's Primrose Everdeen. Dun, dun, dun! Chapter 2. One time, when I was in a bind in a tree, waiting motionless for game to wander by, I dozed off and fell 10 feet to the ground, landing on my back. It was as if the impact had knocked every wisp of air from my lungs, and I lay there struggling to inhale, to exhale, to do anything. That's how I feel now, trying to remember how to breathe, unable to speak, totally stunned as the name bounces around on the inside of my skull. Someone is gripping my arm. It's a boy from the seam. I think maybe I started to fall and he caught me. There must have been some mistake. This cannot be happening. Prim was one slip of paper in thousands. Her chances of being chosen are so remote that I'd not even bothered to worry about her. Hadn't I done everything? Taken the tesserae, refused to let her do the same? One slip in thousands. The odds had been entirely in her favor. But it hadn't mattered. Somewhere far away, I can hear the crowd murmuring unhappily as they always do when a 20-year-old gets chosen because when a 12-year-old gets chosen because no one thinks that this is fair. And then I see her, the blood drained from her face, hands clenched in fists at her side, walking with stiff, small steps towards the stage, passing me, and I see the back of her blouse has become untucked and it hangs out over her skirt. It's this detail, the untucked blouse forming a ducktail, that brings me back to myself. Prim! The strangled cry comes out of my throat and the muscles begin to move again. Prim! I don't need to shove through the crowd. The other kids immediately make a way, straight path for the stage for me. I reach her just as she's about to mount the steps, and with one sweep of my arm, I push her behind me. They age out, I think at 18, they age out, so like it's really unfair for, is it 18? I can't remember right now, but it's unfair for a 12-year-old to have to fight an 18-year-old. I mean, absolutely outrageous. 18, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, 12 to 18. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's like a junior higher fighting a senior or a college student. Like, you guys, that's just not right. I push her behind me. I volunteer, I gasp. I volunteer as tribute. There's some confusion on the stage. District 12 hasn't had a volunteer in decades, and the protocol has become rusty. The rule is that once a tribute's name has been pulled from the ball, another eligible boy, if a boy's name has been read, or a girl, if a girl's name has been read, can step forward to take his or her place. In some districts in which winning the reaping is such a great honor, people are eager to risk their lives. The volunteering is complicated. But in District 12, where the word tribute is pretty much synonymous with corpse, volunteers are all but extinct. Lovely, says Effie Trinket, but I believe there's a small matter of introducing the reaping winner and then asking for the volunteers. And if one does come forth, then we she trails off, unsure of herself. Oh, what does it matter? Says the mayor. He's looking at me with a pained expression on his face. He doesn't know me, really, but there's a kind of faint recognition there. I'm the girl who brings the strawberries, the girl who his daughter might have spoken of on occasion, the girl who 5 years ago stood in the huddle with her mother and her sister as he presented her, the oldest child, with the Medal of Valor, the medal for her father who was vaporized in the mine. Does he remember that? What does it matter? He repeats gruffly. Let her come forward. Prim is screaming hysterically behind me. She wrapped her skinny arms around me like a vice. No, Katniss, no, you can't go. Prim, let go, I say harshly, because this is upsetting me and I don't want to cry. When they televise the replay of the reapings tonight, everyone will make note of my tears and I'll be marked as an easy target, a weakling. I will give no one that satisfaction. Let go. I can feel someone pulling her from my back, and I turn and I see Gale has lifted Prim off of the ground. She's thrashing in his arms. Up you go now, Catnip, he says in a voice that's fighting to keep steady. And then he carries Prim off toward my mother, and I steel myself as I climb the steps. Well, bravo, gushes Effie Trinket. That's the spirit of the games. She's pleased to finally have a district with a little action going on in it. Oh, what is your name? I swallow hard. Katniss Everdeen, I say. I bet my buttons that was your sister. Don't want her to steal all the glory, do we? Come on, everybody. Let's give a big round of applause for our newest tribute, trills Effie Trinket. To the everlasting credit of the people of District 12, not one person claps. Not even the ones holding the betting slips, the ones who are usually beyond caring, possibly because they know me from the Hob, or maybe they knew my father, or they've encountered Prim, who no one can help but loving. So instead of acknowledging applause, I stand there unmoving while they take part in the boldest form of dissent that they can manage. Silence. Which says we do not agree, we do not condone. All of this is wrong. And then something unexpected happens. At least, I don't expect it because I don't think of District 12 as a place that cares about me. But a shift has occurred since I stepped up to take Prim's place, and now it seems I've become someone precious. At first, one, and then another, and then almost every member of the crowd touches 3 middle fingers of their left hand to their lips, and they hold it out to me. It's an old and rarely used gesture of our district, occasionally seen at funerals. It means thanks. It means admiration. It means goodbye to someone you love. And now I'm truly in danger of crying, but fortunately, Hamish chooses this time to come staggering across the stage and congratulate me. Oh, look at her. Look at this one, he hollers, throwing an arm around my shoulders. He's surprisingly strong for such a wreck. I like her. His breath reeks of liquor. It's been a long time since he's bathed. Lots of, he can't think of the word for a while. Spoke! he says triumphantly. More than you! He releases me and starts for the front of the stage. And more than you! He shouts, pointing directly into the camera. Is he addressing the audience, or is he so drunk that he might actually be taunting the Capitol? I'll never know, because just as he's opening his mouth to continue, Hamish plummets off the stage and he knocks himself unconscious. That's hilarious, Naisa. I love that. This all is like, Avery's right. Like, I got full body chills hearing that for the first time again. Whew. He's disgusting, but I'm grateful. With every camera gleefully trained on him, I have just enough time to release a small, choked sound in my throat and compose myself. I put my hands behind my back and stare into the distance. I can see the hills I climbed this morning with Gale, and for a moment, I yearn for something. The idea of us leaving the district, making our way in the woods. But I know I was right about not running off, because then who else would have volunteered for Prim? Hamish is whisked away on a stretcher, and Effie Trinket is trying to get the ball rolling again. Oh, what an exciting day! She warbles as she attempts to straighten her wig, which has listed severely to the right. But more excitement is to come. It's time now to choose our boy tribute. Clearly hoping to contain her tenuous hair situation, she plants one hand on her head as she crosses to the ball that contains the boys' names and grabs the first slip that she encounters. She zips back to the podium, and I don't even have time to wish for Gale's safety before she reads out the name, Peter Malark. Peter Malark? Oh no, I think. Not him. Because I recognize the name, although I've never spoken directly to its owner. Peter Malark. No, the odds are not in my favor today. I watch him as he makes his way toward the stage. Medium height, stocky build, ashy blonde hair that falls in waves over his forehead. The shock of the moment is registering on his face. You can see that he struggles to remain emotionless, but his blue eyes show the alarm I've seen so often in Prey. And yet he climbs steadily onto the stage and he takes his place. Effie Trinket asks for volunteers, but no one steps forward. He has 2 older brothers, I know. I've seen them in the bakery, but one's probably too old now to volunteer and the other just won't. This is standard. Family devotion only goes so far for most people. Oh, I think she fell asleep. Oh, no. Family devotion only goes so far for most people on reaping day. I think we can safely say she's asleep, Liz. If you want to text me. Thank you. What I did was a radical thing. The mayor begins to read the long, dull Treaty of Treason, as he does every year at this point. It's required, but I'm not listening to a word. Why him, I think, and then I try to convince myself it doesn't matter. Peter Malark and I are not friends, not even neighbors. We don't speak. Our only real interaction happened years ago. He's probably forgotten it, but I haven't, and I know I never will. It was during the worst time. My father had been killed in the mine accident 3 months earlier, in the bitterest January anyone could remember. The numbness of his loss had passed, and the pain would hit me out of nowhere, doubling me over and racking my body with sobs. Where are you? I would cry out in my mind. Where have you gone? Of course, there was never any answer. The district had given us a small amount of money as compensation for his death, but it was only enough to cover 1 month of grieving, at which time my mother would be expected to get a job. Only she didn't. She didn't do anything but sit propped up in a chair, or more often she was huddled in the blankets on her bed, eyes fixed at something in the distance. Once in a while she'd stir and get up as if moved by some urgent purpose, and then she would collapse back into the stillness. No amount of pleading from Prim seemed to affect her. I was terrified. I suppose that my mother was locked in some dark world of sadness, but at the time, all I knew was that I had lost not only a father, but a mother as well. And at 11 years old, with Prim just 7, I took over as head of the family. There was no choice. I bought the food at the markets and cooked it as best I could and tried to keep Prim and myself looking presentable, because if it had become known that my mother could no longer care for us, the district would have taken us away from her and placed us in a community home. I'd grown up seeing those home kids at school, the sadness, the marks of angry hands on their face, the hopelessness that curled their shoulders forward. I could never let that happen to Prim. Sweet, tiny Prim, who cried when I cried before she even knew the reason, who brushed and braided mother's hair before we left for school, who still polished my father's shaving mirror each night because he hated the layer of coal dust that settled on everything in the seam. The community home would crush her like a bug, so I kept our predicament a secret. But the money ran out, and we were slowly starting to starve to death. There's no other way to put it. I kept telling myself if I could only hold out until May, just May 8th, I would turn 12 and I would be able to sign up for the Tesserae and get that precious grain and oil to feed us. Only there were still several weeks to go. We could be dead by then. Starvation is not an uncommon fate in District 12. Who hasn't seen the victims? Older people who can't work, children from families with too many to feed, those injured in the mines, straggling through the streets, and one day you come upon them sitting motionless against a wall or lying in the meadow. You hear the wails from the house, and the peacekeepers are called to retrieve their bodies. Starvation is never the cause of death officially. It's always the flu, or exposure, or pneumonia. But that fools no one. On the afternoon of my encounter with Peter Malark, the rain was falling in relentless icy sheets. I had been in town trying to trade some threadbare old baby clothes of Prim's in the public market, but there were no takers. Although I had been to the Hob on several occasions with my father, I was too frightened to venture into that rough, gritty place alone. The rain had soaked through my father's hunting jacket, leaving me chilled to the bone. For 3 days, we'd had nothing but boiled water with some old dried mint leaves that I found in the back of the cupboard. By the time the market closed, I was shaking so hard that I dropped the bundle of baby clothes into a mud puddle. I didn't pick it up for fear that I would keel over and be unable to regain my feet. Besides, no one wanted these clothes. I couldn't go home, because at home was my mother with her dead eyes and my little sister with her hollow cheeks and her cracked lips. I couldn't walk into that room with the smoky fire from the damp branches I had scavenged at the edge of the woods after the coal had run out. My hands were empty of hope. I found myself stumbling along a muddy lane behind the shops that served the wealthiest of townspeople. The merchants lived above their businesses, so I was essentially in their backyards. I remember the outlines of garden beds not yet planted for the spring, a goat or two in a pen, one sodden dog tied to a post, hunched, defeated in the muck. All the forms of stealing are forbidden in District 12, punishable by death. But it crossed my mind that there might be something in the trash bins, and those were fair game. Perhaps a bone at the butcher's or rotted vegetables at the grocer's, something no one but my family was desperate enough to eat. Unfortunately, the bins had just been emptied, and when I passed the baker's, the smell of fresh bread was so overwhelming that I felt dizzy. The ovens were in the back. A golden glow spilled out of the open kitchen door, and I stood mesmerized by the heat and the luscious scent until the rain interfered, running its icy fingers down my back and forcing me back to life. I lifted the lid to the baker's trash bin, and I found a spotless, ruined it. We were having such a good run. And I found a spotlessly, heartlessly bare. Oh, the trash can was empty. Sorry. Suddenly a voice was screaming at me, and I looked up to see the baker's wife. She was telling me to move on, and she didn't want to call the peacekeepers on me, and how sick she was of having those brats from the seam pawing through her trash cans. The words were ugly, and I had no defense. As I carefully replaced the lid and backed away, that's when I noticed him, a boy with blonde hair peering out from behind his mother's back. I'd seen him at school. He was in my year, but I didn't know his name. He stuck with the town kids, so how would I know him? His mother went back into the bakery grumbling, but he must have been watching me as I weighed my way past the pen that held their pigs and leaned against the far side of an apple tree. The realization that I'd have nothing to take home finally snuck in. My knees buckled, and I slid down the tree trunk to its roots. It was too much. I was too sick, weak, and tired. Oh, so tired. Let them call the peacekeepers, I thought, and take me home to the community home. Or better yet, let me die right here in the rain. There was a clatter in the bakery, and I heard the woman screaming again and the sound of a blow, and I vaguely wondered what was going on. Feet sloshed towards me through the mud, and I thought, it's her. She's coming to drive me away again with a stick. But it wasn't her. It was the boy, and in his arms he carried 2 large loaves of bread that must have fallen in the fire because the crusts were scorched black. His mother was yelling, "Feed it to the pigs, you stupid creature! Why not? No one decent will buy burned bread." He began to tear off chunks from the burned parts and toss them into the trough. In the front of the bakery, bell rung, and his mother disappeared to help a customer. The boy never even glanced my way, but I was watching him because of the bread. because of the red welt that had stood out on his cheekbones. What did she hit him with? My parents never hit us. I couldn't even imagine it. The boy took one look back at the bakery, as if checking that the coast was clear, and then, with his attention on the pig, he threw the loaf of bread in my direction. The second quickly followed, and he sloshed back to the bakery, closing the kitchen door tightly behind him. I stared at the loaves in disbelief. They were fine, perfect really, except for a few burnt areas. Did he mean for me to have them? He must have, because they were at my feet. And before anyone could witness what had happened, I shoved the loaves up under my shirt and wrapped the hunting jacket tight around me and walked swiftly away. The heat of the bread burned into my skin, but I clutched it tighter, clinging to life. By the time I reached home, the loaves had cooled somewhat, but the insides were still warm. I dropped them onto the table, and Prim's hands reached to tear off a chunk, but I made her sit. I forced my mother to join us at the table, and I poured some warm tea. I scraped off the black stuff and sliced the bread, and we ate an entire loaf, slice by slice. It was good, hearty bread. It was filled with raisins and nuts. I put my clothes to dry at the fire, crawled into bed, and I fell into a dreamless sleep. It didn't occur to me until the next morning. Hey, 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 hey. Hey. Hi, baby. It didn't occur to me until the next morning that the boy might have burned the bread on purpose. He might have dropped the loaves into the flames, knowing that it meant being punished, and then delivered them to me. I dismissed this. It must have been an accident. Why would he have done it? He didn't even know me. Still, just throwing me the bread was an enormous kindness that would have surely resulted in his beating if he was discovered. I couldn't explain his actions. We ate slices of bread for breakfast, and then we headed to school. It was as if spring had come overnight. Warm. Oh, honey, you want out of the bouncy now? You need out? You need out? You can be out. You can be out. You can be out. You can be out. Yeah, you can be out. You can be out. What did I miss? I missed something. Shh, 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 shh. Oh, okay, I saw it. Okay, okay, you're okay. Mommy has you. Yeah. Shh, 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 shh. Oh, I know, it's a really cute outfit, right? Shh, 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 shh. Warm, sweet air, fluffy clouds. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What is it, my angel? What is it? You're okay. You're okay. You had a little ruffle butt. You're okay. Settle in. Settle in. Yeah, just settle. Yeah. Just settle. Just settle. No, no tears. Just settle. There we go. That's right. Head down. Head down. Morning, Kathleen. Head down. Yeah, that's better, right? That's better. That's better. Okay. Let's keep going. It was as if spring had come overnight. Warm, sweet air, fluffy clouds, and at school I passed the boy in the hall. His cheek had swelled up and his eye had blackened. He was with his friends and didn't acknowledge me in any way, but as I collected Prim and started for home that afternoon, I found him staring at me from across the schoolyard. Our eyes met, only for a second, and then he turned his head away, and I dropped my gaze, embarrassed, and that's when I saw it. The first dandelion of the year. A bell went off in my head. I thought of the hours spent in the woods with my father and how I knew we were going to survive. To this day, I can never shake the connection between this boy, Peter Malark, and the bread that gave me hope, and the dandelion that reminded me I was not doomed. And more than once, I have turned into the school hallway and caught his eye trained on me, only to quickly flit away. I feel like I owe him something, and I hate owing people. Maybe if I had thanked him at some point, I'd be feeling less conflicted now. I thought about it a couple of times, but the opportunity never seemed to present itself. And now it never will, because we're going to be thrown into an arena to fight to the death. Exactly how am I supposed to work a thank you in there? Somehow it just won't seem sincere if I'm trying to slit his throat at the time. The mayor finishes the dreary treaty of treason and motions Pepita and me to shake hands. His are solid and warm as those loaves of bread. Peter looks me right in the eye and gives my hand what I think is meant to be a reassuring squeeze. Maybe it's just a nervous spasm. We turn back to face the crowd as the anthem of Panem plays. Oh well, I think. There will be 24 of us. Odds are someone else will kill him before I have to. Of course, the odds have never been dependable as of late. Woo! Oh, ho, ho. Woo, hoo, hoo. Harsh. I wonder if we could get into the next chapter. Let's see how much we have. I don't know. Let's see, what time is it? I don't know if we'd be able to finish another chapter, but we could. Yeah, we could try. We could try to finish another chapter. It's not the worst idea, right? I feel so bad. Yeah, it's 9:12. Yeah, I think we could probably sneak in another chapter. We might go a few minutes over, but that's okay. Secret Husband needs sleep anyway. Chapter 3. The moment the anthem ends, we're taken into custody. I don't mean we're handcuffed or anything like that, but a group of peacekeepers marches us through the front door of the Justice Building. Maybe tributes have tried to escape in the past, and I've never seen that happen, though. Once inside, I'm conducted to a room and left alone. It's the richest place I've ever been in, with thick, deep carpets and velvet couches and chairs. I know velvet because my mother has a dress with a collar made of that stuff. And then I sit on the couch and I can't help running my fingers over the fabric repeatedly. It helps to calm me as I try to prepare for the next hour, the time allotted for the tributes to say goodbye to their loved ones. I cannot afford to get upset. To leave this room with puffy eyes and a red nose. Crying is not an option. There will be more cameras at the train station. My sister and my mother come first. I reach out to Prim as she climbs onto my lap and her arms are around my neck, her head on my shoulder, just like she did when she was a toddler. My mother sits beside me and wraps her arms around us, and for a few minutes we all say nothing, and then I start telling them all the things that they must remember to do, now that I won't be there to do them for them. Prim's not taking any tesserae. They can get by if they're careful on selling Prim's goat milk and cheese, and the small apothecary business that my mother now runs for the people in the seam. Gail will get her the herbs that she doesn't grow herself, but she must be very careful to distribute them because he's not as to describe them, because he's not as familiar with them as I am. He's also going to bring them game. He and I made a pact about this a year or so ago, and he probably will not ask for compensation, but they should thank him with some kind of trade, like milk or medicine. I don't bother suggesting Prim learn to hunt. I tried to teach her a couple of times, and it was disastrous. The woods terrified her, and whenever I shot something, she'd get teary and talk about how we might be able to heal it if we got it home soon enough. But she makes well with her goats, so I concentrate on that. And when I'm done with the instructions about fuel and trading and staying in school, I turn to my mother and I grip her arm hard. Listen to me. Are you listening to me? She nods, alarmed by my intensity. She must know what's coming. You can't leave again, I say. My mother's eyes find the floor. I know, I won't. I couldn't help what. Well, you have to help it this time. You can't clock out and leave Prim on her own. There's no me now to keep you both alive. It doesn't matter what happens. Whatever you see on the screen, you have to promise me that you'll fight through it. My voice has risen to a shout now. It's in all the anger, all the fear of the abandonment I felt at hers. She pulls her arm from my grasp, moved to anger herself now. I was ill. I could have treated myself if I'd had the medicine that I have now. The part about her being ill might be true. I've seen her bring people back from suffering, from immobilizing sadness since then, and perhaps it is a sickness, but it's not one that we can afford. All right, then take it, and take care of her, I say. I'll be all right, Katniss, says Prim. I'll be all right, Katniss, says Prim, clasping my face in her hands. But you have to take care, too. You're so fast, and you're so brave. Maybe you can win. I can't win. Prim must know that in her heart. The competition will be far beyond my abilities. Kids from wealthier districts who are winning is a huge honor, who've been training for this their whole lives. Boys who are 2 or 3 times my size. Girls who know 20 different ways to kill you with a knife. Oh yeah, there'll be people like me too. People who get weeded out before the real fun begins. Yeah, maybe, I say, because I can hardly tell my mother to carry on if I've already given up myself. Besides, it isn't in my nature to go down without a fight, even when things are insurmountable. Then we'll be as rich as Hamish, right? I don't care if we're rich. I just want you to come home. You will try, won't you? You'll really try? Asks Prim. Really, really try. I swear it, I say, and I know, because of Prim, that I have to. And then the peacekeeper is at the door, signaling our time is up, and we're hugging one another so hard that it hurts, and I'm saying, I love you, I love you both, and they're all saying it back, and then the peacekeeper orders them out and closes the door, and I bury my head in one of the velvet pillows as if I can block out this whole thing. Someone else enters the room, and when I look up, I'm surprised to see that it's the baker, Peeta Mellark's father. I know, right? It's so crazy, Naisa. Like, this is just, it's so crazy to read it like this all over again. I can't believe that he's come to visit me. After all, I'm going to be trying to kill his son soon. But we do know each other a little bit, and he knows Prim even better because she sells her goat cheese at the Hob and puts them aside for him when he gives her a generous amount of bread in return. We always wait to trade with him and his witch of a wife when she isn't around so that he's much nicer. I feel certain that he would never have hit his son the way that she did over the burned bread, but why has he come to see me? The baker sits awkwardly on the edge of one of the pushchairs. He's a big, broad-shouldered man with burn scars from years at the ovens. He must have just said goodbye to his son. He pulls out a white paper package from his jacket pocket and holds it out to me. I open it and I find cookies. These are a luxury we could never afford. Thank you, I say. The baker's not a very talkative man in even the best of times, and today he has no words at all. I have some of your bread this morning. My friend Gail gave it to you for a squirrel. He nods as if remembering the squirrel. Not your best trade, huh? I say, and he shrugs as if it couldn't possibly matter now. And then I can't think of anything else. So we sit in silence until a peacemaker summons him. He rises and coughs to clear his throat. I'll keep an eye on the little girl, and I'll make sure she's eating, he says. I feel some of the pressure in my chest lighten at his words. People deal with me, but they're genuinely fond of Prim. Maybe there'll be enough fondness to keep her alive. My next guest is also unexpected. Mage walks straight to me. She's not weepy or evasive. Instead, there's an urgency about her tone that surprises me. They let you wear one thing from your district in the arena? One thing to remind you of home. Will you wear this? She holds out a circular gold pin that was on her dress earlier. I hadn't paid much attention to it before, but now I see it's a small bird in flight. Your pin? I say. Wearing a token from my district is about the last thing on my mind right now. Here, I'll put it on your dress, all right? Mage doesn't wait for an answer. She just leans in and fixes the bird to my dress. Promise me you'll wear it in the arena, Katniss, she asks. Promise? Yeah, I say. Cookies? A pin? I'm getting all kinds of gifts today. Mage gives me one more. A kiss on the cheek. And then she's gone, and I'm left thinking that maybe Mage really had been my friend all along. Finally, Gale is here. And maybe there's nothing romantic between us, but he opens his arms and I don't hesitate to go into them. His body's familiar to me, the way that it moves, the smell of the wood smoke, even the sound of his heart beating. I know it from the quiet moments on our hunts, but this is the first time I've really felt it, lean, hard, muscled against my own. Listen, he says, getting a knife should be pretty easy, but what you've got to get your hands on is a bow. That's your best chance. They don't always have bows, I say, thinking of the year that there were only horrible spiked maces that the Trebius had to bludgeon one another to death with. All right, then make one, Gale says. Even a weak bow is better than no bow at all. I've tried to copy my father's bows with poor results, because it's not easy. Even he had to scrap his own work sometimes. I don't know if there's even going to be wood, I say. Another year, they tossed everybody into a landscape of nothing but boulders and sand and scruffy bushes. I had particularly hated that year. Many contestants were bitten by venomous snakes or they went insane from thirst. There's almost always some wood, Gale says. Since that year, half of them died of cold. That wasn't much entertainment. It's true. We spent one Hunger Games watching the players freeze to death at night. You could hardly see them because they were just huddled into balls and they had no wood for fires or torches or anything like that. It was considered very anticlimactic by the capital. All those quiet, bloodless deaths. And since then, there had usually been wood to at least make fires. Yeah, there's usually some, I say. Katniss, look, it's just hunting. You're the best hunter I know, says Gale. It's not just hunting. They're armed. They can think, I say. Yeah, so do you. And you've had more practice. Real practice, he says. You know how to kill. Not people, I say. How different can it really be? Says Gale grimly. The awful thing is that if I can forget they're people, it will be no different. The peacekeepers are back too soon, and Gale asks for more time, but they're taking him away, and then I start to panic. Don't let them starve, I cry out, clinging to his hand. I won't. You know I won't, Katniss. Remember, he says, and then they yank us apart and slam the door, and I'll never know what he wanted me to remember. In a short ride from the Justice Building to the train station, I've never been in a car before. Rarely have I ever ridden in wagons. In the scene, we travel on foot. I've been right not to cry. The station is swarming with reporters and their insect-like cameras trained directly on my face, but I've had a lot of practice wiping my face clean of emotions, so I do this now. I catch a glimpse of myself on the television screen on a wall that's airing the arrival line, and I feel gratified that I appear almost bored. Peter Malark, on the other hand, has obviously been crying, and interestingly enough does not seem to be trying to cover it up. I immediately wonder if this will be his strategy in the games, to appear weak and frightened so as to reassure the other tributes that he's no competition at all, and then he'll come out fighting. This worked very well for a girl named Joanna Mason from District 7 a few years back. She seemed like a sniveling, cowardly fool that no one bothered with her until there were only a handful of contestants left. It turned out she could kill viciously. Pretty clever, honestly, the way she played it, but this seems like an odd strategy for Peter Malark because he's a baker's son. All those years of having enough to eat and hauling bread trays around have made him broad-shouldered and strong. It will take him an awful lot of weeping to convince anyone to overlook him. We have to stand for a few minutes in the doorway of the train while the cameras gobble up our images, and then we're allowed inside, and the doors close mercifully behind us, and the train begins to move at once. The speed initially takes my breath away. Of course, I've never been on a train, as travel between the districts is forbidden except for officially sanctioned duties. For us, that's mainly transporting coal, but this is no ordinary train. It's one of those high-speed capital models that averages about 250 miles per hour. Our journey to the capital is going to take less than a day. In school, they tell us that the capital was built in a place called the Rockies. District 12 is in a region known as Appalachia. Even 100 years ago, they mined coal here. Sorry, even hundreds of years ago, they mined coal here, which is why our miners have to dig so deep. Somehow, it all comes back to coal at school. Besides basic reading and math, most of our instruction is coal-related, except for the weekly lecture on the history of Panem. It's mostly a lot of blather about how much we owe the capital. I know there must be more than what they're telling us, an actual account of what happened during the rebellion, but I don't spend much time thinking about it. Whatever the truth is, I don't see how it's going to help me get food on the table. The tribute train is fancier than even the room in the Justice Building. We're each given our own chambers that have a bedroom, a dressing area, and a private bathroom with hot and cold running water. We don't have hot water at home unless we boil it. There are drawers filled with fine clothes, and Effie Trinket tells me to do anything I want, wear anything I want. Everything is at my disposal. Just be ready for supper and shower. Be ready for supper in an hour. And I peel off my mother's blue dress and I take a hot shower. I've never had a shower before. It's like being in a summer rain, only warmer. I dress in a dark green shirt and pants. At the last minute, I remember Mage's little gold pin, and for the first time I get a good look at it. It's as if someone has fashioned a small golden bird and then attached a ring around it. The bird is connected to the ring only by its wingtips, and suddenly, I recognize it. A mockingjay. They're funny birds, and something of a slap in the face to the capital. During the rebellion, the capital bred a series of genetically altered animals as weapons. The common term for them was mutations, or sometimes mutts for short. One was a special bird called a jabberjay that had the ability to memorize and repeat whole human conversations. They were homing birds, exclusively male, that were released into regions where the capital's enemies were known to be hiding, and after the birds gathered words, they'd fly back. Sorry, had to prove I was human, not a mutation. They'd fly back to the Capitol where the words were recorded. It took people a while to realize what was going on in the districts, how private conversations were being transmitted, and then, of course, the rebels fled the Capitol and fed the Capitol endless lies, and the joke was on it. So the centers were shut down and the birds were abandoned to die off in the wild. Only they didn't die off. Instead, the jabberjays mated with female mockingbirds, creating a whole new species that could replicate both bird whistles and human melodies. They had lost the ability to enunciate words, but they could still mimic a range of human vocal sounds, from a child's high-pitched warble to a man's deep tones, and they could recreate songs. Not just a few notes, but whole songs with multiple verses, if you had the patience to sing them to them, and if they liked your voice. You want to lay down? Yeah, do you want to lay down? You can lay down. You can lay down. It's okay. Yeah, you can lay down. Yeah. Let's see, where was I? My father was particularly fond of mockingjays. When we went hunting, he would whistle or sing complicated songs to them, and after a polite pause, they would always sing back. Not everyone is treated with such respect, but whenever my father sang, all the birds in the area would fall silent and listen. His voice was that beautiful, high and clear, and so filled with life that it made you want to laugh and cry at the same time. I could never bring myself to continue the practice after he was gone, but still, there's something comforting about that little bird. It's like having a piece of my father with me, protecting me. I fastened the pin onto my shirt, and the dark green fabric is there as a background. I can almost imagine the mockingjay flying through the trees. Effie Trinket comes to collect me for supper, and I follow her through the narrow rocking corridor into a dining room with polished panel walls. There's a table with all the dishes that are highly breakable, and Peter Malark sits waiting for us. The chair next to him is empty. "Where's Hamish?" Effie Trinket asks brightly. Last time I saw him, he said he was going to take a nap," said Peter. "Well, it has been an exhausting day," says Effie Trinket, and I think she's relieved by Hamish's absence. Who could blame her? Then supper comes in courses. A thick carrot soup, green salad, lamb chops, mashed potatoes, cheese and fruit, a chocolate cake. Throughout the meal, Effie Trinket keeps reminding us to save space because there's more to come. But I'm stuffing myself because I've never had food like this. So good, so much. Probably the best thing that I can do between now and the games is put on a few pounds. "Well, at least you two do have decent manners," says Effie as we're finishing the main course. "The pair last year ate everything with their hands like a couple of savages. It completely upset my digestion." The pair last year were two kids from the Seams who had never, not one day in their life, had enough to eat. And when they did have food, table manners were surely the last things on their minds. Peter's a baker's son. My mother had taught Prim and me to eat properly, so yeah, I can handle my fork and my knife, but I hate Effie Trinket's comments so much. I make a point of eating the rest of the meal with my fingers. And then I wipe my hands on the tablecloth, and this makes her lips purse tightly together. Now that the meal's over, I'm fighting to keep the food down, and I can see Peter's looking a little green too. Neither of our stomachs are used to such rich fare, but if I can hold down Greasy Say's concoctions of minced meat, pig entrails, and tree bark, a winter specialty, I'm determined to hang on to this too. We go to another compartment to watch the recap of the reapings across Pan Am. They try to stagger them throughout the day so that a person could conceivably watch the whole thing live, but the only people in the Capitol could really do that, since none of them have to attend the reapings themselves. One by one, we see the other reapings, the names called, the volunteers stepping forward, or more often, not. We examine the faces of the kids who are going to be our competition. A few stand out in my mind. A monstrous boy who lunges forward to volunteer from District 2. A fox-faced girl with sleek red hair from District 5. A boy with a crippled foot from District 10. And most hauntingly, a 12-year-old girl from District 11. She has dark brown skin and eyes, but other than that, she's very like Prim in size, and 12-year-old girl from District 11. She has dark brown skin and eyes, but other than that, she's very like Prim in size and demeanor. Sorry, I don't know if it paused for a second. I was getting a call. There's no one willing to take her place. Last of all, they showed District 12, and Prim being called, and me running forward to volunteer. You can't miss the desperation in my voice as I shove Prim behind me, as if I'm afraid no one will hear and they'll take Prim away. But of course, they do hear, and I see Gale pulling her off me, and I watch myself mount the stage. The commentators are not sure what to say about the crowd's refusal to applause, the silent salute. One says that District 12 has always been a bit backwards, but that the local customs can be charming. As if on cue, Hamish falls off the stage, and they groan comically. Peeta's name is drawn, and he quietly takes his place. We shake hands. They cut to the anthem again, and the program ends. Effie Trinket is disgruntled about the state of her wig. Your mentor has a lot to learn about presentation, a lot about televised behavior. Peeta unexpectedly laughs. He was drunk, Peeta says. He's drunk every year. Every day, I add, and I can't help but smirking a little. Effie Trinket makes us sound like Hamish has just got somewhat rough manners that could be corrected with a few tips from her. Yes, hisses Effie Trinket. How odd you two find it amusing. You know your mentor is your lifeline to the world in these games, the one who advises you, lines up your sponsors, and dictates the presentation of any gifts. Hamish could well be the difference between your life and your death. And just then, Hamish staggers into the compartment. "Ain't I miss supper?" he slurs, and then he vomits all over the expensive carpet, and he falls in the mess. So laugh away, says Effie Trinket as she hops on her pointy shoes in the pool of vomit and flees the room. Yeah, laugh away. Laugh away. Hi, beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. Yeah. Yeah, who's my beautiful angel, huh? Who is it? It's you, that's right. That's right, it's you. Well, those two chapters were certainly something. I mean, yeah, they were something else, huh? I have to say, no one writes like Suzanne Collins. I mean, it's just beautifully written. Reading it is such a joy. Like, the words just roll off your tongue. Yeah? What? You can't possibly be hungry. You can't possibly be hungry, are you? All right, I'm going to go feed her, and I will see you all at 4:30. Those were not long chapters, but they made me sad. I know, right? Oh, yeah, it's a great book, Julia. It's so great. Did you ever read The Host? No. I haven't. I bet my sister has, though. Yeah, we're going to do the whole series, Cindy. Yeah, isn't that cool? It's going to be great to do the whole thing. My friend James had mentioned, and I wish we had done this now that I thought about it, that we should read them in chronological order, not release date order, which I wish we had done because that would have been kind of cool, but it's okay. We're going to read them the way that we started them. Okay. We'll be back. Okay. We'll be back at 4:30 for Roll for Slime. We're going to go feed this little nugget. All right, bye, guys.